thank everyone. This has been a while that we've got, trying to get a whole board to actually be involved with it, which is a required annual December training. And so I appreciate that. I appreciate just that, the team. Appreciate Blake. We've been friends for a long time. You've worked very hard from your office in Austin to reach out towards Northeast Texas. And that has, that's taken time, but your firm, your company, you guys are good people. You care about kids there, but also you may be all over Texas now. I don't know. I just know about Region 8. But that got his cell phone number. He's 24/7. The college actually has Powell Leon as well. But appreciate you coming out here. When I called and asked, maybe I was the first one to ask, or I asked early enough. I don't know. But anyway, we talked about it, and we said, well, why don't we just think about just some general training, just in that. We've got, a whole new board. Let's just talk about the basics, talk about what it means to be a team of 8, and let's use our Texas Education Code, let's use our mission, objectives, and just go from there. And then, again, Blake has said, he's here to serve us too, so if it goes in some different direction, that's okay too, I believe. Is that right, Blake?
Absolutely.
Okay. And welcome.
Thank you. I'm here as a resource for you, so if it pleases the board, first thing I'm going to do is take my coat off and stay a while. Get a little less formal. I'm sorry?
Loosen your tie,
I'll take them on that.
Take it off.
Rather than be standing in front of me and lecture tonight, let me just pull up a chair. Unravel here from the corner and just sit down and visit with you a little bit. Commissioner Jack's introduction was excellent. We do serve school districts throughout the state. We have school district clients in every one of the 20 regions in the state. We have 6 attorneys in our firm today. We serve in excess of 200 school districts, really in every corner of the state, and do a fair amount of work with boards and training. When I'm not working with directly on behalf of school districts, I do some volunteer work. I volunteer some services with the Texas Parent PAC. If you're not familiar with the Texas Parent PAC, I would encourage you to look them up on the website and visit them. As far as organizations are concerned that are very effective in bringing about positive political change in public school districts in the state, Parent PAC, I'd rank at the top of that list. We're also very privileged to work with Texas Association of Community Schools and the Texas Rural Education Association. I think Jack Steve is a member of both those organizations. We thank you for your membership. TREA, thank you. I also do some volunteer work for the Friends of the Texas Public Schools. Friends is purely a nonprofit organization. It's non-political. If you've seen the billboards up and down the internet that celebrate positive things that are going on in the Texas Public Schools, that was bought and paid for by Friends of the Texas Public Schools. So I toss that out. We're here kind of at a somber time following the tragedy of Sandy Hook, Connecticut, and it's kind of a serious time for us to take up board training, as more details come out about that tragedy. More pride, I think, we have as board members and educators, and the courage that is demonstrated by those educators on behalf of their students. We talked about a loco parentis. We drop our children off, and when we parents are gone, the school administrators and teachers step into that role. And what a great definition of a loco parentis for those folks to make the sacrifices that many of them did on behalf of our students. My purpose in being with you tonight is really to sit down and talk about roles, relationships, of the authority of individual board members, and I'm going to roll over what is a fairly generic curriculum. Those of you who are veterans of the board may have heard this curriculum presented in the past. Service Center, or perhaps at Texas School Board training. I want to give you my perspective tonight as a lawyer who represents boards and works with school districts and kind of illustrate some of these points based on my experiences as serving boards. I understand we've got a lot of new faces on boards. The last time that I was in your community, we've got 4 new board members that are new to board service, and a new board member that has experience with board service, and then we've got some veterans. Let me roll through here. Touch on some of the mission objectives, we will review duties and responsibilities, and then at the end of time permits, we'll take on some common scenarios. One of the things I think surprises a lot new school board members is really what we do as a board has already been determined by the Texas legislature. Most school districts have their own mission, goals, objectives, and we set those up and develop those locally. The Texas legislature has already set a mission up for us in Chapter 4 of the Texas Education Code. And so that mission is to ensure that all Texas children have access to quality education that enables them to achieve their potential and fully participate now and in the future. That mission is grounded on the conviction that general diffusion of knowledge is essential for the welfare of this state. They took that language from the Texas Constitution, and for the preservation of liberties and rights of citizens, and so forth.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
When you're reading that mission, and speaking as a lawyer, just speaking as someone who's been in this business, you know, if you go back to the other slide, it is further grounded on the conviction that a successful public education system is directly related to a strong, dedicated, and supportive family, and that parental involvement in the school is essential for the maximum education achievement, which I don't think we spend near enough time to talk about that, and you'll be amazed, guys, when you go through what is about 10 objectives, and you see which one they list first. But again, maybe the focus is there, it's been in front of us the whole time, it's just really paying attention to it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no,
Preaching.
that's a good message. and we want parental involvement, and that is just absolutely critical, and that family home environment is critical to the success of the student. I heard a statistic the other day that was just astounding. I was doing a board training in Region 7, and an administrator shared with us that a child who comes from a family of college-educated parents, by the time that they're in kindergarten, that child will have a vocabulary of 500,000 words more than the child of parents who have not been exposed to higher education. That's an astounding statistic. Here's our specific objectives, and y'all been provided this information. I won't go through these in great detail, but we want parents who are full partners, students who will be encouraged and challenged through enhanced dropout prevention. All this has been set out by the Texas legislature well in advance. We've got specific academic goals, reading and writing language, understanding of mathematics, understanding of science, understanding of social studies. And finally, we get around to local goals and priorities. Local priorities should relate to the superintendent's performance objectives. My question I have for all board members is, how many employees does the board have? How many employees does the board have? One. And that's our superintendent of schools. It's our responsibility to recruit the superintendent, to negotiate into a contract with the superintendent of schools, and then evaluate the superintendent of schools. Beyond that, we as a board really rely on the superintendent and administration to do the recruiting, hiring, and evaluation of all other employees in the school district. District goals and priorities. Goals are adopted by the board. Strategies are implemented by the superintendent. And then the success of these goals and strategies are evaluated by the complete team of 8, or in some urban districts, team of 9. An independent school district is governed by a local board of trustees who is a body corporate, has the responsibility to oversee the management of the school district. Again, this is set out in the Texas Education Code, Chapter 11. The trustee has power as a trustee only when participating in a legally called board meeting. And our appellate courts have fleshed this out and reached that holding on multiple occasions over the years. We've got a separation of powers. The board of trustees is the body corporate, has an obligation to govern and oversee management of the district. Superintendent is our education leader, chief administrative officer of the district. And there's a distinction between these roles and responsibilities that must exist. Again, this is all set out in Chapter 11. Here's what matters in the real world. The skill of the superintendent in communicating this authority and the honor of the board in controlling their political influence. Governance is the exercise of political authority. What's the difference between political authority and political influence? What's the difference between authority and influence? Authority we have when we're convened at a duly called lawful meeting of the board of trustees. That's when we, as a corporate body of authority, act and take action on behalf of the school district. Outside of that duly called lawful board meeting, we're citizens of the community and we lack that governmental authority. Now let's think about influence. What about political influence? We possess the political influence all the time. And that's where we really get down to the honor of the individual board member in exercising restraint in the exercise of that political influence. A few years ago, I was attending a school board meeting. I'm there early, and I'm visiting with the board president. I'm visiting with the superintendent. I'd never seen a smart board at that time. I said, "Blake, what we do is come on down. Let's walk down to the elementary wing, and let's take a look at the smart board." So here we go. Suits and ties on, and we smart down the hall of the elementary wing. First door we come to, superintendent puts the master key in, turns the lock, and in bursts superintendent of schools, board president, and school attorney in ties. And behind her desk is a brand new elementary teacher working late on her lesson plans in her school next day. And for that instant, when she didn't understand what these men are doing barging in her classroom, her eyes get about that big, and you could just see the concern expression in her face. And that's what drove home to me political influence. It wasn't just some guys coming in to play on the smart board, which is really what we were there to do. I've never seen what anyone showing what the smart board could do, and that was kind of fun. And once she understood our purpose of being in there, she calmed down. That drove home to me the power of political influence, certainly in her mind. And trustees need to be mindful of that when we go to a campus, because what's the first thing that a teacher thinks of when a trustee comes stepping in? Look out, there's some serious business to be had here. I've got a younger sister who is a trustee of a school district, and she's developed a strategy. And what she does is, if it's something good and positive going on in her child's educational experience, she's in there. If it's something more serious that needs to be dealt with, she sends her husband. He's the one that gives such an opportunity to go in and deal with the heavy stuff. I don't know if that's the best strategy or not, but that's one way of dealing with political influence. What matters in the real world is the integrity of the board members, not to use their position as board members to exercise personal agendas, whether that be to promote a family member, to promote a business interest, to promote some ideological interest or grind an axe in pursuit of AP data. If we let any of those things get to the top of our priorities, then we're subordinating a real true priority, which is the best interest of the students in our school district. One of our clients down in South Texas has a gentleman in his 80s that serves on the board. Now, he claims, he may be right, that he is the oldest and longest serving trustee in the state. And that may be. He says that in his experience, he served as a county commissioner and a city councilman, and is now the longest serving trustee in the state. And he says that it's just different. When he was serving as county commissioner, he was responsible for roads and bridges and cattle guards in his rural precinct. And then we served as a city councilman, responsible for police powers and streets and trash and sewer and those type of things. And in each instance, very responsible to the taxpayers. He said as a school trustee, he said, you take the name trustee, he feels that his obligation, his highest obligation, is to the student who is in the most difficult circumstance or situation within the school district. Because that child over in the special ed wing that doesn't have a vote, doesn't have a voice, depends on someone to act in that child's best interest. And that's what he takes from the word trustee. So, some sage advice from an octogenarian. Our organizational chart starts with the Board of Trustees, our policymaker, and then our superintendent, our campus administrators, and then our district and campus level committees. How does the board oversee the management of the school district? Well, we can look at a distinction of the roles. The board's role is that of a policymaker. We have an obligation to adopt vision and goals, adopt policies, evaluate the outcome. The superintendent's role is to develop these plans and regulations, implement operations, and then evaluate progress and report back to the board as requested over time. We draw a pretty clear line between those. What boards must not do. Boards must not implement strategy. Boards do the what and the why, not the how, the when, and the who. Before I get into the role of the board president, I want to borrow a term of art from the Texas Association of School Boards. You've been to a TASB training, you may have heard talk about the fire watchtower. TASB will say, and I like this analogy, that a trustee ought to be like that fireman out in the forest in that tall fire watchtower looking for smoke on the horizon. And the objective of that fireman is to see smoke. Pick up the telephone and call the superintendent and report the smoke. Don't leave the fire tower. Let me chase that metaphor a little bit further. From a school auditor's perspective, Darrell Roy used to say, the late Darrell Roy, when you throw the ball, three things can happen and two are bad. Well, from the school auditor's perspective, there's a couple of bad things that can happen when you leave the fire watchtower. For one, if we climb down out of the fire watchtower and go investigate some misconduct that an employee of the district has allegedly engaged in, has been reported to us, what we're doing, if we're leaving the watchtower, is doing call a board meeting, going out and investigating on our own, is we're receiving facts independently that the rest of the board is not privy to. And if a conflict comes to the board of trustees, whether it's through your employee, through your DGBA grievance policy, or if we're involved in taking some type of adverse action against the employee, or that be through a non-renewal or termination, or maybe a suspension without pay, any of those things that would allow the individual employee to pursue a independent information, what's the first thing the employee's counsel is going to object to at the board meeting? He's going to object, absolutely, objection bias. I object to that trustee, they can't be fair and objective because they've gone out and they've already got their mind made up, they're biased. So, that puts the school lawyer in the position of having to make a judgment call on behalf of the district. Do we say, oh, you're just crazy, this trustee is capable of being objective and non-biased, and we will have none of that objection overruled, and maybe create an issue for appeal if the employee seeks to appeal it to the Texas Commissioner of Education. Or you would play it safe and sustain the objection and ask that the trustee recuse himself. Well, that really gets kind of dicey in the cold and flu season when we're struggling to put together a quorum, or maybe it's a contentious issue and we've got trustees on both sides of the issue. And you know, chances are that the trustees went out and obtained that information. You know, where they would like to see the adverse action taken against that employee. Well, by doing that, you put yourself in jeopardy of not getting to participate in the ultimate action of the board, whether it be a decision related to an item on an employee grievance or non-renewal or termination or whatever the adverse action might be that's considered against the employee. The other problem, if we leave this the protection of our newly called board meeting, the content of the fire tower, is we're leaving behind our strong shield of qualified immunity. Basically, everything that takes place at this table during a lawfully called board meeting is going to be an exercise of your discretion as a duly elected public official. By gosh. And as a consequence, you've got this strong shield of qualified immunity. We may be named in a lawsuit, but we know darn well we're not going to be in a lawsuit very long because our lawyers are going to file a motion for summary judgment. Have us dismissed from that lawsuit because we were exercising our discretion as part of a duly called lawful meeting of the board of trustees. That's a powerful defense. It's a defense that we may be leaving behind if we're taking some action outside of the board meeting. If we're going out and conducting an investigation, if we're speaking about an employee or other third party outside of the board meeting, we may be putting ourselves in a position where we've got some individual civil liability where that shield of qualified immunity may not apply. On occasion, I've represented trustees who have been subpoenaed to testify. By and large, when a trustee is asked questions about what took place in a board meeting, it's a mighty short deposition because you're protected if the plaintiff's attorney were to ask a question. Ms. Chapman, when you got ready to make your decision concerning my client in public session, what were you thinking? Your lawyer, objection, because protected by the legislative privilege. Ms. Chapman, you need not answer that question. There goes the end of that question. If the plaintiff's attorney were to start to ask Ms. Chapman some questions about what took place in executive session, it's the same thing. Objection. Yeah, that's protected by the executive privilege. Ms. Chapman, you need not answer those questions. It stops the deposition pretty darn fast. Other than maybe some questions related to an individual's background, some things of that nature, it's a pretty short deposition. You can get into a lot of those types of detail. Again, those are protections that we enjoy related to a lawfully called board meeting where trustees get into trouble. That's when we very away from that. Let me talk just real quickly about the roles of the board president. Obviously, the board president is responsible for developing and posting an agenda with the superintendent, including items suggested by other board members. I didn't look at your board policy on my way up today, but in most districts around the state, any board member, or maybe two board members, depending on the local policy, can go to the board president and ask that an item be placed on the agenda. Two board members here at Chapel Hill can ask that an placed on the agenda. President assures that meeting protocols are followed, including procedures for open and closed portions of the meeting according to local policy, and on occasion will act as a mediator between the two debate. One of the things that I like to see occur between the superintendent and the board president, I like to see a little time carved out each month prior to regular board meeting for the superintendent to meet privately with the board president and go over agenda items. It may be as a practical matter, it's just not necessary because our agenda is pretty basic and we know what's going to be covered. That may not be necessary every time, but it's a good practice to have because on occasion something will come up. We'll need to have that time period carved out to strategize a little bit. And maybe it's a grievance that we want to get prepared for. I like to see school districts use a little hearing guide for the agenda. It's a good opportunity for the board president to sit and go over the hearing guide with the superintendent. Yes, sir.
We'll call time out for just a second.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Because I think it's important for everybody to hear this. Plus, we're going to dismiss the administration. They were just saying to the first break, but since two people honestly need to go to the restroom, this would probably be as good a time as any to go. Okay? And so, I was telling Mark, I really don't see any reason why the administration needs, you're welcome to stay, but you don't have to stay. We've got new board members. Many of y'all have heard the same training before.
It's new. I don't know what.
Well, you're welcome to go, you're welcome to stay, but we're taking a break. I like to do that because it allows people the ability to stand up without having to be noticed for standing up. So I really don't see any reason why the administration needs to stay here. I honestly mean that. And and we've got another hour and a half or so of this, and you leave now.
Mr. Calvert, you all right?
But at the same time, if anybody does need to go, we need to take a break. We've got food and drinks while we're doing. I think that just hit. I wanted to